Hey there, Wendy here with Jazzydoodledesigns, and thank you for joining me today. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I always enjoy seeing you all. We're going to be working on the Jazzydoodledesigns Advent Calendar 2025. Now, I am going to put this intro at the beginning of every single video. So if this is day 9, skip ahead if you wish, because I'm going to go over where to find the sheet and the colors and all of that. Okay, first off, where to find this sheet. I put together this PDF and you can find it on my Ko-fi shop, which will be linked in the description box below. Everything on there is, with the exception of one thing, is enabled free, pay what you want. This just means that if you want to donate to the channel, you can, but you're also welcome to pick this up at no cost to you. I want everyone to be able to play along. I am going to be using Chromaflow Colored pencils. Now, I have chosen a little bit of an unusual color palette for this. By unusual, I mean a little more muted and pastel. I thought it would be fun since last year I went with a very traditional color palette and I used Prismacolors. So I'm going to be using Chromaflow Colored pencils, and these are the colors that I chose. Now, in the event that you don't have Chromaflow, or maybe you don't have all of these, feel free to use whatever colored pencils that you want. I've put a little swatch next to them so that you can get an idea of what pencils might work for this, right? But anyway, I'm not, if I deviate, if I feel like I need another color that isn't listed here, I will flash it up on the screen. Otherwise, it's pretty easy to figure out light, medium, and dark, right? And I will try and mention that. I'll say, pick up your lightest red tone, pick up your lightest blue tone, or whatnot, to try and help you out. Generally speaking, when I do pages like this that have a lot of little images for myself, I generally color all the images and then add in the little pops of white. But for the sake of this type of video, I'm going to go ahead and add in the obvious ones to me. I may go back at the end and add some acrylic marker to really bring out these little ornaments, just because when you color those with colored pencil, it has a tendency to get a little lost. And so I may do that. I may add extra white at the end, or maybe pops of gold or something like that. I just want to let you know that going forward. But I will try and completely finish the image in each video. That way, if you only care about one, it's done. Okay? And because this is a PDF, I will most likely be adding some form of glitter to this in the form of Wink of Stella and or stickles. Like, I like to put them on fluffy things like the fur of the hats and the little stocking, and you know, who knows, I might add a little dots of gold or something like that. Okay? So use what you have and make it your own. So let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to day 10. I can't believe it. We're gonna color this cute little capybara. So we're gonna need pretty much all the pencils, okay? Because we're gonna have a lot of colors here in our little string of lights. But for our main cappy, we are going to use Parmesan, Willow, and Natural Brown. We'll see if I add in any of the spice or not. But we're going to start with our Parmesan. And like we did our gingerbread girl, we're just going to lightly color the entire thing. Now it sounds crazy because this is kind of pretty yellow, right? But one, I'm trying not to dig back in our little box of colors. I'm trying to stick with the same palette. So this color here is really, it's gonna lighten everything up, okay? So next up, let's go in on the side here. You see how far back I am on my pencil? I want this nice and light because I want to be able to control the blend here. Because I'm only going to come in to about like just a little bit here on this edge. And around his leg a little bit. So just like kind of on the edges, right? Down on the bottom of his little arm, up the crease, down on the bottom of this arm. A little on the top. Okay. I'm going to do his little nose. Are their feet darker? We're going to make them darker. Hands and feet, a little darker. Okay. So that gives us our general shading. Now, next up is the natural brown. I'm going to go in, but not as deep, right? So just on the edge there, up around his leg. Nice and light. Kind of here at the bottom of the nose. And the edge. The key is nice light little layers. Okay. And then let's grab our Dijon. And so I'm liking how that looks on as far as color wise. Sometimes it's a little tricky, right? When we're really trying to keep that palette. So I'm going to go over very lightly on our light spots. Okay, back in with Willow. This color really packs a punch. So easy to get too much of this color. I am coloring so lightly. It's just one of those colors that'll just take over so easily if you let it. Or if you're not careful, I should say. But I just don't want the overall look to be too like that Parmesan, that really light yellow, right? I want it more natural brown. So, not quite as light a layer as we were using with the willow, but definitely not, like, I'm not pushing down hard, okay? But I'm liking the look of that. Next up, natural brown again. Nice and light. Just redefining. Just kind of helping everything blend a little bit. Getting rid of our white spots. A little more pressure on the feet. Okay. And you can stop whenever you're happy, right? This is willow again. Okay. A little bit more Dijon up in the nose there a little bit. Smoothing this blend out just a touch. No harsh lines. Feel free to use blending solution. That'll get rid of, like, especially depending on what paper you're using. If you have like a toothier paper, it's going to be harder for you to blend out the white dots, right? So feel free to use like your blending solution, okay? All right, next up, redwood. We're going to do our little hat. So once again, point, a little darker. Point, point. Now I always kind of do a thin line here. Take that out just a little ways. Okay, and then the Turkish Delight. I'm going to put my highlight right about there. Okay, here's our blush pink. Here it is. It's always hiding. Kind of going over everything, right? This color just really helps it look a little brighter red. Okay, and I'm going to use a little bit of that natural brown to deepen up a little bit of that red. Right where our shadows would be, the darkest shadows, right? And then I can bring out the redwood a little farther that way. Okay. One more time with blush pink. Okay. We'll leave a little pop of white there. All right. So for our little, what are they called? You know, ornaments. We're going to kind of color them a little bit like we do berries. Only in the center. Okay. First thing that we should talk about is how many colors do you want? I am going to use red, green, yellow, and blue. Right? Red, green, yellow, and blue. Okay, so I'm going to go red, yellow, green, blue. So I'll need to do this one in red. So I'm going kind of not all the way to the edge, and then red, yellow, green, blue. Okay? So next up, the blush pink. We want it light, a little like the blush pink on the outside and on the inside, leaving a little bit of white. Right? It's going to kind of make them look a little glowy. Okay, so that's our red. For our yellow, we're going to go with the Sandcastle because that's the brightest color, and the Dijon. So the Dijon, we're going to do the same thing we did with the redwood. And then Sandcastle on the outside, leaving that pop of white, right? Okay. And then green. So we want the field gray, and the mint, and then I'm going to take just a little bit of the that cactus. Okay, and then our blue, right? So blue yonder, and Carolina blue. Okay. Now, if you want, you could add just a little bit of Parmesan around these, just for a little bit of glow, right? Like the lightest, what if we did the lightest blue on the outside there, and the lightest green around there, and the lightest yellow. Yeah, I like that. So we'll do that. And then for the red, I think I want to go with the blush pink. Even though that's not the lightest, And then I'll blend that out a little bit with Ash Rose. I just don't think Ash Rose will be enough. Yeah, it's not going to. Now, if you were doing a full like picture and you wanted a glow effect, I suggest you start with the glow. Start with the glow on your pictures, right? Like, especially on the critter, we would have needed to put our colors on him first. With these small images, it doesn't matter, and we're not putting a ton of glow, right? Because these aren't, you know, they're not beacons. They're just a little bit, okay? Look how cute he is, though. So let's get our white going. So we can get that drying. So with these, like when they have like the little fluffs like in circles, I do like the balls of circles, which you can do here too. See how I'm doing that? You can also just do dots. I just think it adds a little something if you do the circles. Because see how then it adds like almost like a scallop, right? Lots and lots of dots. Adds just a little bit of dimension. Okay, we're going to add a touch of white into the center of each of these bulbs. Not too much. And then get a black to do your little wires. Something small, right? I turn my paper. Turn it to where it's a good angle for you. Okay. Give his nose a little shine. And then let's go in with our stickles, right? I hate that I can't use stickles in my books because I like them. I just feel like they add so much. I like the dimension of them. I like the shiny of them, the glittery. Can you see all of our glitter on our page? Well, you could if I was in camera. I think it's looking cute. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching another video from Jazzydoodledesigns. If you'd like even more Jazzydoodle and a little more snark, please check out the membership below. If you're looking for a community where you can share your work and chat with other fellow colorists in a safe and welcoming environment, hit the subscribe button to Jazzydoodledesigns and then look for Jazzydoodledesigns Coloring Community on Facebook. And there you can join a group of fellow colorists to talk all things coloring and share cute pet pictures. I hope to see you there. And until next time, happy coloring.